Joined now on the show by Chicago Steel defenseman Jack Barr. Jack, how you doing?
I'm doing pretty well, thanks. How are you?
I'm doing good. Thanks for joining me on the show. So let's get right into it. It was obviously a weird year with COVID and everything like that, but I guess you had a bit of a roller coaster with teams. Ended up supposed to be playing on Harvard, then going to Penticton and Chicago. Can you just kind of run us through how that kind of all went down?
Yeah, like you said, pretty crazy year. So in about April last year, May, I was getting set to go into Harvard, and then we got word that they're probably not going to have a season. So I was looking for another spot to play this year, and I ended up going to Penticton. So I played a few preseason games there, but then their season kind of got a bit delayed, and we weren't sure when it was going to start up. So I ended up heading down to Chicago, and the rest is history. We had a great year there, and I had a lot of fun.
Yeah, we'll get into the Chicago experience a little bit here, but just wanted to talk about Penticton. Obviously, like in the BCHL, it's a great league, and Penticton, I would say, is what a lot of teams like aim to be like. Like that facility is amazing. Like, how did you enjoy your experience there? And also, was it a little bit disappointing not to play like a fully meaningful game and only get into regular season, preseason games?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, there's a reason I wanted to go there. I wanted to go and develop and try to win a championship. Um, and so I learned a lot there. I met a lot of great people, and I think I developed a lot as a hockey player. And they have such a rich history as a program, and they develop so many great players and even players in the NHL. So that's why I wanted to go there. It's a shame I didn't really get to live out the full experience.
But then obviously you go to Chicago, and who are probably the equivalent in the USHL, to be honest. So you end up going there. Funnily enough, you guys go to the final against Fargo, who you were drafted by originally, get traded. So how was the experience there? Like going and like, was there a lot of difference between Penticton and Chicago? Was it kind of similar in a way too?
Um, I'd say the style of play was a bit different on the ice, but the overall environment was pretty similar in that they care about the players and their development first. And then kind of the winning comes with that. So yeah, Chicago was awesome. I loved it there. And there's no place I'd really rather be playing than in Chicago.
Yeah, I spoke to Ryan Ufko and Matt Coronado too in the previous interviews, and they basically said the same thing. Like, if you want to develop as a player, like Chicago's a great place to go and do that. And that kind of leads into the next question, like we spoke about off the top. You were supposed to go to Harvard this year, but how big was this year for you? Do you think to get that extra year that you weren't really supposed to have away from college hockey to become a better player?
Yeah, I think I believe that everything happens for a reason. And so I think I definitely made the best out of a weird situation in that I took this time to become a better player and kind of refine my skills before I went on to college. So I think in the long run, this year away from college and the year playing junior actually really helped me.
Hmm. So, speaking of college, Harvard, obviously one of the most prestigious schools in not even only North America but the world. Like, why did you choose to go to there?
Yeah, I think my family's always been really big on education. My mom's a teacher, and then my sisters and I, we've always had pretty good grades growing up. So when you look at the hockey side and then the academic side as well, I think there's not really a better place to be. And then even in the last few years, they've developed so many NHL players, especially defensemen. You look at guys like Jack Rathbone, Riley Walsh, Adam Fox. Like those are all guys that went to Harvard for a few years, developed, and now they're going to become NHL superstars.
Especially Adam Fox this year, of course. Norris not.
Yeah,
It must be nice to see someone who's going to attend there. So even on the steel, there was a bunch of guys who are now committed to Harvard too for next year, a few years down the line, whatsoever. Like that must really, I guess, help with your transition to going into next year, actually knowing like three or four guys now, right?
yeah, for sure. We ended up getting pretty close, and we all kind of talked about it during the days and kind of getting ready for it. And when I was supposed to go in this past year, I had no idea. I didn't know anyone, so it's going to be nice to have a few buddies going in.
Yeah, definitely. That helps with anything for sure. So you're from Ontario and you were drafted into the OHL by the Peterborough Petes in third round, I believe. what kind of was this education a big thing for you? Why you did choose the NCAA then over going to major junior in Canada?
Yeah, for sure. That was probably one of the biggest reasons. Just the education, and if you get the chance to get a degree from Harvard while also developing into a hockey player, there's not much else you'd rather be doing that.
Yeah, it really, I guess that's a pretty good thing to put. Yeah, it doesn't get much better than that. So last few for you. For someone who hasn't seen you play, what kind of player are you?
I'd say I'm a steady two-way puck moving defenseman. I like to play physical, compete hard in my own zone, and then move pucks up to my forwards, and then join the rush when I can. And I like to pick and choose my spots. And then I think I also have good offensive instincts and can find space in the O zone and contribute offensively as well.
And as we mentioned at the top, this was an extra year for you. What is something that you think improved in your game this season?
I think especially in Chicago, they work so much on offensive movement and cycles. That's not really something I keyed in on until this year, and so kind of just reading off my players in the offensive zone, looking for open spaces, and kind of looking at it from a numerical advantage standpoint, where if you draw someone towards you, you're opening up another player, and kind of just things like that.
And last one for you, and probably the best one. What are you most excited about for the draft?
Um, I'd say just the whole experience. It's something I've been looking forward to for a long time, as I'm sure all the guys have. So yeah, I'm just trying to soak it all in and have fun.
Well, yeah, that's great. And best of luck with that. And thanks a lot for joining me.
Thank you very much. Thanks for having me.